In this video, we're going to be talking about third-party rights. Third-party rights are exceptions where non-contracting parties may gain enforceable benefits. We're going to be talking about the privity of a contract, delegation of duties, assignment of rights, two types of the third-party beneficiaries, the test to determine if it's a third-party beneficiary, and lastly, the statutes of limitations.
Privity of a contract. In contract law, there's a concept called privity of contract. This means only parties in the original contract can sue or be sued under it. In this scenario, person 1 notices the bathroom tiles are already cracking and wants to sue the subcontractor. However, the doctrine of privity prevents him from doing so.
So the tiles in my bathroom that you placed are already cracking and I want to sue the tile guy.
I totally understand that, but since I'm the only one in the contract and I hired him, you cannot sue him.
So I can only sue you?
Yes, under the doctrine of privity, you can only sue people that are involved in the contract, so I will have to deal with the subcontractor.
Our next topic is delegation of duties. That is when there is a transfer of contractual duties from one party to another. Within delegation of duties, there are three separate individuals. The first one is the delegator. That is the person who was originally supposed to perform an action. The second person is the delegatee. That is the new person performing the new duty. And then there's the obligee. That is the person who expects the performance to be completed. The obligee and delegator sign a contract for the delegator to paint the interior of the shed for $850. The delegator then goes and contacts his uncle, who has no experience in painting whatsoever, and tells him that he wants to hire or delegate him to paint a client's shed. The uncle now becomes the delegatee of the contract and is sent the next day to paint the shed. After a week of painting, the job is complete. The delegator contacts the obligee for payment. Hi, how much would it cost me to hire you to paint the interior of my shed?
Well, based on my assessment of the shed, I think a flat rate of $1,000 would be fair.
Oh, well, I can't afford that right now. What if I offered you $800?
No, that is way too low for that size of shed. How about $900?
That's still too much. Will you do $850?
Okay, fine. I'll paint your shed for $850. Let's get a contract written up. Here's the invoice for the shed I painted.
About that, I won't be paying the $850 we agreed upon. I'll be taking you to court for not fulfilling the contract.
Why? We painted the shed just like you asked.
Well, I contracted you to paint the shed, not your uncle. He also took a week to finish it. That job should only take him about 2 days. He also put one coat of paint down. It was not nearly enough coverage. It looks terrible, and for that, I'm taking both you and your uncle to court. Lawyer up, bud.
The assignment of rights. An assignment of rights occurs when one party, the assigner, transfers their contractual benefits, such as the right to receive payment, to another party known as the assignee. The obligor is the original party who must fulfill the obligation, such as making a payment. This process allows the assignee to step into the assigner's shoes and receive the benefits outlined in the original agreement. While assignments can transfer benefits like payment rights, they are not always permitted. An assignment is prohibited if it creates a substantial risk for the obliger or if it alters the nature of the performance or duties originally agreed upon. In such cases, the obligor is not required to honor the reassigned rights. In this scenario, the bank loans money and decides to assign its right to receive payment to a third-party investor. Once the assignment is made, there is a new assignee who is entitled to receive the payments.
So our bank issued a $30,000 loan to a small business, and instead of holding the loan, we are going to assign the rights to receive payments to you.
So I will still be receiving the payments?
Yes, you are the assignee now. Just be aware that we can assign if it increases the risk for the borrower or changes our obligations.
Okay, I'm good with that as long as I keep making the payments on time.
Right, we will notify them today to make all future payments to you.
Now we're going to be talking about third-party beneficiaries. A third-party beneficiary is someone who is not a party to a contract but stands to benefit from it. There are two types of third-party beneficiaries. The first one is an intended beneficiary. This is where one has legal rights and can enforce the contract. In this scenario of an intended beneficiary, It shows a man buying a life insurance policy and naming his wife as the beneficiary, meaning she'll receive the money if he passes away.
I'd like to purchase a life insurance policy and list my wife as the beneficiary.
Got it. If anything happens to you, she'll receive the payout. She is the intended beneficiary. She's named in the contract and has legal rights to enforce it.
The second type of third-party beneficiary is an incidental beneficiary. This is where someone benefits from a contract unintentionally, but cannot enforce it. This next scenario shows how a construction contract between the city and a paving company indirectly benefits a restaurant, making the owner an incidental beneficiary.
Apex Paving will be widening Grange Ave, payment on completion.
Considered done by August.
Nice new road. Look at all these customers.
Yeah, it was so easy to get to that restaurant with the new road.
To determine if a scenario is truly a third-party beneficiary, there's a 3-part test that we can walk through. The first part is, was performance rendered directly to the third party? Second, did the third party control contract details? And finally, were they specifically designated in the contract? If any of these 3 tests are true, then it is not a third-party beneficiary. Performance cannot be rendered to the third party directly, the third party cannot have any control of the details, and the third party cannot specifically be named in the contract at any point.
This situation shows how someone can become a third-party beneficiary, meaning they weren't part of the new agreement, but the contract was clearly made to benefit them. Even though they didn't sign the second loan deal, the promise was made for their benefit. Because of that, they now have the right to step in and enforce the agreement if the person who's supposed to pay doesn't follow through.
Hey, I loaned you $200 last week. Can I have it back?
Actually, I loaned that $200 to a friend. We agreed that my friend would pay you back directly.
So he is responsible for paying me back now?
Yes, we have a written agreement. My friend owes you, not me.
Okay, good. But just so you know, if your friend doesn't pay, I can sue him, since I am now a third-party beneficiary to your agreement.
Statute of limitations. The legally defined time limit within which a party must bring a claim or enforce a right. Some assignments may be required to be in writing depending on the applicable statute of limitations. An example of this would be if you wait too long to enforce your assigned right to payment, the right could expire.
Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned a little bit more about third-party rights.